Alrighty, and we are live and good to go. Alrighty, guys, doing some quick little technical updates before we do get started. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone is having a great week. Man, July's just like flying by. Can't believe how fast this month has gone by. Seriously, my goodness. But really hope you guys are having a great week. You know, welcome back. If you guys are still coming back to the live streams, I know it's definitely hard here. We'll definitely get started here just in a second. This won't be a super long video today. I'm definitely going to be doing some change up. We're going to be sticking to the same schedule, but might just be introducing some different content here soon. I know we talked about our coding live streams and other coding videos. I literally have part 2 coming out next week. I think I'm going to do that on Monday. I'm going to record it right after this live stream that we're doing, and then that will probably be dropped on Monday, or if not sooner. So just gonna be trying out some new content. But first off, guys, welcome back to MTV TA, guys. All my new patrons, welcome. All my attorney patrons, of course, welcome back. Really glad to have you guys here. Thank you guys for continuing to rock with me and coming back and continue to learn, even despite the discorrelation between news and price influx and price action, but really glad to have you guys here. So really just going over some housekeeping, guys, real quick before we really get started. Today's going to be more of a technical based video, just because we do have a lot of things in the Ethereum network that need to be talked about in terms of protocol and updates. So it might be a little bit of a, not the typical video today of news articles, but more of really just kind of diving into depth of, really what's going on. So really going over, first off is our ZK sync. That's some taglines, scalability with Ethereum layer as we continue to move forward. With developing Ethereum and moving into 2.0 and proof of stake network, as we talk about so often. Also going to be talking about Ethereum's transaction volume, how much they're settling per quarter. Also, what to expect here moving forward. This is the times where I personally get really, really excited, just because we see the hype die down in terms of everyone flooding in here, and a lot of people are not sticking in the space right now just because the price action isn't reflecting that. But during times like this, just like we talk about often, it's the best time for developers and also investors like you and I to really put our heads down, get our heads out of the sand, and continue to stay consistent and continuing to see, what goes on day in and day out throughout the space. Doesn't have to be every day, but, every other day, of course, you can definitely see the growth and the continuation of, big guys and, of course, the development of projects. So continuing to move forward, got some small articles, some readings, and nothing too crazy. Absolutely not. It's definitely going to be a shorter video today, guys. So first off, I don't know if you guys watched yesterday, but we did have our Jerome Powell had his federal chair meeting the other day covering inflation rates and so on. So I definitely want to play this clip. It's about 2 minutes long. Just kind of goes over the key highlights. I watched it a little bit yesterday. I didn't watch all of it. I missed the last 30 minutes. But for the most of it, I watched everyone from the very beginning. People had some very legitimate questions, very legitimate concerns. Jay Powell does, they're doing their best what they can do. It's hard for me to give slack for the Fed because it's like if I was in that position, I wouldn't really know what to do either. As hard as it really is a rock and a hard place. But here's a quick little recap of, really what went down for the Fed meeting, and then we can talk about it after, kind of just see how we're feeling. This is also really important, I think, for, people. Oh, is this a 2-day? No, this is, hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me check real quick. Oh, yeah, this is just a relay. So if you guys actually do want to watch this, here, let me put this in chat right now. This is the full meeting, 2 hours. Here, put that in chat right now. There you go. That's full J Powell meeting right there. So awesome. Forgot you can do that. Pin that in chat. Awesome. Cool.
Jake Powell is going to testify before the Senate today. Yesterday, he told the House the central bank is still a ways off from tapering asset purchases. Steve Leisman joins us now with more. Steve, you got to be a linguist, and one word can send us into a tailspin, or in there we can start soaring based on the removal or addition of one word from the English language. What you see, and body language matters too, I guess.
It's the translation, Joe, of letters and words into numbers and terms and interest rates. That's the story. What I did see, though, Joe, is over 3 hours, lawmakers on the House Financial Services Committee, I think you saw this, they grilled Fed Chair Jay Powell over concerns about inflation. Powell yielded very little in terms of his plans to throttle back the Fed's easy monetary policy. Here are 3 things that he said. Fed will keep to the current funds rate, which is around 0, until the employment goal and inflation goals are reached. The labor market, he said, still has a long way to go and substantial further progress. That's the metric for figuring out when to reduce asset purchase. That's quote, still a ways off. Now, Powell continued to insist the inflation spike is temporary, but made a few concessions to inflation concerns. He acknowledged it was not moderately above 2% anymore and said it's possible the Fed could be wrong about it being temporary. Finally, he introduced this new test for what would cause the Fed to change course and tighten more quickly.
If expectations do move up in a way that is troubling, which is to say materially above and for a persistent time, we would be concerned and we would react to that.
So Powell several times said that inflation needs to be materially and persistently above 2% to alter the Fed's course, and he seemed to suggest it's a judgment that the Fed would make over about a 6-month period. But he also said, hey, it would be a mistake for the Fed to act based on an inflation spike that turned out to be temporary.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, so really what I took from that and what I took from the meeting yesterday is that this is just me personally, in my personal opinion, the Fed just minimizes, the talks and the inflation rates to, of course, sustain fear and not send things into turbulent. You don't want a circuit breaker in the market and so on. Like, we had a circuit breaker at COVID crash, and that's when the stock market falls, I think, like 35. I think the first level was 40%, then 60, then 80. They like halt all trading. So if you didn't know what a circuit breaker was, there you go. That's definitely a thing. So I think really moving forward, like I'm not sure why they're like just kind of kicking under the rug like the overall inflation rates. Like you see it in housing and infrastructure and everything. Like it's rising. It will continue to rise. And I know they just got to keep people sane and not people panicking. And we just got to recover slowly but surely. But it's really a tough spot that we're in terms of anything. Shouldn't stop you from working hard and doing what you need to do, of course, but it just sucks for generations lower, Gen Z, millennials, because we're ultimately getting the real big boot of it right now in terms of being able to buy houses or do things in the workforce that maybe we're not readily available for the generation before us. So that's definitely just my take on it. So definitely would love to hear you guys' take on that as well if you watch that. So moving over also to ZK Sync, scalability without comparison. They did a little short memo here on Twitter. You guys know how much I love my crypto Twitter. So really going down here, covering actually, first off, weak technologies adapt to the world as it currently exists. Strong technologies adapt the world. Strong technologies adapt the world to themselves. So I like that quote. I don't know who said it, but I really do like it. I don't know if someone at the team made that up. But in terms of really, if you're really going to take the two comparisons between, this technology and, I'm trying to think like really another technology that just kind of adapts with the world around us. So I guess you could take payment systems. So you can take PayPal or Venmo. Those payment systems were, of course, revolutionary at the time, but Venmo was not. Venmo or PayPal or Cash App, any of those were not the first electronic payment system. If you really to put it in terms like that. I mean, not to be circling back to the talk, but Bitcoin was, of course, before a lot of these payment transactions, and that's what a P2P system is, a peer-to-peer payment system. And Bitcoin's been around longer than any of those. So you could technically say, Bitcoin did start a bit of a revolution, but besides the point, that's just kind of more of a technical standpoint. That's not anything, that's just on a hard timeline. But really going down to part two, we really just kind of go into, EVM, ZK rollup solutions, in scales of taxation with data on chain, 200 data with off chain, the scale of Ethereum to reach 100 million users, for the kind of scalability, cryptography is strong technology, while cryptonomics is weak technology, future-proof stake technology, rely on maximally securities of the base layer and minimally on top of therapeutic trust assumptions. And then also going down to 5, we will have EVM compatibility, Solidity and Viper, MVM migration, native support for privacy, and of course, lower fees. We've seen that with Uniswap. Uniswap has been very, very interesting in terms of getting their layer solutions up to date. Actually, I was thinking about, I will probably do a video on that as well, showing you guys how to use that. I don't know how frequently, you guys have been using Uniswap or any sort of swap services, but Uniswap has really captured that V3 solution, making it, it's a difference between night and day in terms of going on there and swapping. You're talking like, going from $70, like we're talking down to 3 cents now. Like it really is a night and day difference, and we're going to kind of we're going to see the growth from, people who maybe have gotten in middle of the run, or maybe you got an end, but like earlier, if you guys have been here the whole time, the past 8 months that we've been doing this, or even before I was tweeting and doing things before I even started these live stream videos all the time, or every Tuesday, Thursday, twice a week, we've seen this space like evolve just seriously from night and day. And like this is where I get really excited, because you see the hype die down, like I said earlier, and like you really now get to see like a clear picture of like what some of these people work so hard on, us developers included, myself included, and just overall the smoke in mirrors is there in the price action, but in terms of the news, like, you know, things are still getting done. Just because we have bad price action day doesn't mean I stop working. So that's what I definitely like to compare often. So going into Q2, Ethereum settled 2.5 trillion in transactions, and we talked about this like I think a couple live streams ago as well. You know, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and even before that, it's kind of, I sound like a broken record sometimes, but you know, sometimes these things got to be reset. Not only just because of the new people coming in, but also just it's easy to forget. There's a lot of information in this space, and you know, Ethereum beat out, you know, my goodness, PayPal entire year of transaction in 1 quarter. You know, like it's insane the amount of liquidity that, you know, this is able to provide, and you know, the trustworthiness and the overall movement of how this ecosystem, you know, continues to evolve and you know, really show what it's made of. And definitely this is important for me. Ryan Watkins shot this out a tweet. We can go in deeper. This is of June 30th, so 2021. So a little bit old, but very much still relevant. So, you know, he easily just says in Q2 2021, Ethereum saw 2.5 million transaction. This represents a 65% increase and 1,490 year on year, and puts Ethereum on pace to settle 8 trillion in 2021. And that's, of course, a relative estimated guess. That's not something out of the ordinary. You know, companies do this all the time for their projected earnings, and this is something that I believe is easily doable, 100%. So, I mean, this is just more of a technical standpoint. I know this may seem boring. It's different than the other live stream, but, you know, this is kind of what this channel is. This isn't like some fun channel. You know, we talk about serious investments, serious projects, and you know, we're investors. We're not gamblers. You know, we take our money, make it work for us, and we take as much risk off the table as we can, absolutely, in terms of, you know, having sound projects and understanding, you know, what we're doing in this ecosystem, because it's very easy to get lost here and, you know, not understand, you know, what you're doing, you know, as you guys know. So it can be very overwhelming sometimes. So also, you know, just for anyone who wanted as well, I can put this in the live stream as well. Anyone who wanted to read the London update notes, really good read, you know, kind of really technical, but I'm going to put that in chat for you right now as well. But for those who really want to take that stance, that'd be great. I know I talked about it not too long ago, just about, you know, getting more involvement with the coding aspect, and, you know, people who really wanted to transition over into maybe possibly doing development. You know, that's why I'm kind of kicking up the coding live streams, or I'm kicking up the coding videos, just, you know, to spark any inspiration for anybody who maybe was thinking about getting in that realm, or, you know, maybe just didn't have the incentive to push. You know, we really need developers, and it's awesome. You know, it's a great way to get involved with the space daily, see the technology from the first-hand basis, play with the technology on the first-hand basis, and of course be able to, you know, make a pretty good living off it as well. So definitely something, if that's something you guys really want to see further, I can definitely keep publishing any more readings or anything that are more catered towards the workforce in the blockchain space. Also, guys, this is also a really good. This is a cool article. I thought we'll go back to this one as well. I thought this was a really cool article. How to play and earn is changing the business of gaming and blockchain. So I had talked to this about a coworker, and, you know, we were just like, hey man, like what, you know, and this was very popular back in the day. Like, I was a big World of Warcraft player in my earlier like years, and I played a lot of RuneScape when I was younger. And, you know, a lot of my guildmates and people, you know, who would play for other people on accounts, or, you know, power level and do other things. If you're familiar with gaming and like MMORPGs, you'll know what I'm talking about. But, you know, people, I remember like there was a vivid time where, like, you know, a lot of my guild members were getting paid in Bitcoin, you know, back in the early 2000s and like early 2000, like 11, even later than that. You know, RuneScape was out for a while, and, you know, like that was the forms of payment for people doing services in games. So if you wanted the account from somebody who was a level 50 range mage, you know, you would pay however much Bitcoin it was equivalent to, you know, that account. And of course, back then Bitcoin was pennies, if not dollars at the time, so it was nothing overly extravagant. And that just shows you how, you know, quickly we've definitely evolved into the space. But how this really applies to, you know, us moving forward, and how this can be a game changer, like, my gosh, like I couldn't imagine, you know, and we've talked about this also, the possibilities, and how this is becoming a big incentive for, you know, companies not, you know, only profiting off their customers, such as you buying the game. So you're a gamer, you go buy the game for the company, and that's it. You don't get anything else. You get the DLC, and, you know, you just get fun times with the game. You don't get any sort of payment for that. You know, the company just gets your profit, and they go do whatever they need to do. But now, you know, the incentive, you know, if you could, like we talked about even with the NFT game, you know, if you having a real world item that you play and put your hard-earned time for, you get a golden Glock or a golden sword, and you put that up for real life marketplace on the real market, and, you know, let's say that's a rare replica, like 21 of 21, and, you know, let's say that exchange good is going for man, could be going for a couple thousand or maybe a couple hundred. That was already happening in the real world of RuneScape. People were already selling real accounts for hundreds of thousands of dollars because of items and achievements. It's very common that this has already been happening. It's just not on a regulated scale to where it's very common. There's plenty of game marketplaces that allow you to exchange real world money for game accounts. So this is something that I believe will 100% change the game, and I know that it's kind of on the cusp and still somewhat there, but I know gaming, of course, is becoming a very, very large industry, like a multi-billion-dollar industry. I know gaming is getting not out of hand, but really evolving to a serious means of space. It drives in a lot of viewers. I don't know, I saw a statistic last year that I think the esports championship of E21 was out beating, I don't know if it was Super Bowl views, or it was something major. It blew me away at the amount of viewership and money that was going into esports. And America, of course, carries its weight, but you guys know overseas, a lot of that weight carry is carried by overseas countries, such China, Europe. It's super big over there, a lot bigger than it is here. So also, real quick, just wanted to kind of go over to DeFi Plus as well, or DeFi Pulse as well, kind of just see where we're sitting at. Still got a good amount of value locked out here. We're on the Ethereum side. Let's go. Oh, no, we're not. ETH locked up 6.2 mil. You can see just over the past year. I mean, this is kind of just what we talked about as well, that this building phase was crazy. This was a time where DeFi really was not getting any attention at all. This is just a 1 year chart. It's crazy, right? It really is crazy. How not how quickly the sentiment can change, but just the fact of how much liquidity we did have at one point. And of course, this is not something that will stay like this forever. We will eventually get back these locked values, and we will continue to climb higher. And the DeFi chain is, things continue to tie in together, such as just what we talked about, scaling solutions and so on. But definitely a good checkup just to see just how we're doing. Of course, we've lost a good amount of liquidity in terms of DeFi, just from the hype dying down and people not doing all their meme coins and everything they need to do besides playing the long game. But this is just something that I think is really important to, of course, pay attention to, just to see on the DeFi side, as this is by far my favorite part of being in the blockchain space, is decentralized finance. I think it is by far the coolest thing I've probably ever worked with and will continue to work with in my life. So, and I do not say that lightly. Awesome. Cool. Making sure we get everything covered here today. I think this is just a small reading. I don't think this was part of our reading today. I just kind of had that up. And lastly, I think I just wanted to cover up with our let's look at the Bitcoin chart and just see how we're looking. I know we're looking pretty ugly, and this is something that I don't even look these days seriously. I'm really just coming on here just for us to see how we're doing on the technical standpoint and see how things are going to be wrapping up. Sorry, let's do I think we were on was it Tether or BitBay? That's where our main chart was. Oh, maybe not. Oh wow. I guess we oh man. Oh, I forgot. I cleared my cache. Oh wow. Actually, let me see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to see if BTC, let's see, yeah, here, BTC, let's see if, okay, there you go. Yes, I was about to say, I thought I cleared my cache, I just took away the chart. So, I mean, we've had the same exact bar chart up for a while, so all these lines represent just our key levels of resistance that were one support, and vice versa. So, I mean, you guys know, all right on the TA, I just do it for the terms. I understand it well, and you guys have appreciated it, so I bring it out here and there when I need to, but, I'm not a big trader, not anything about like that. I just think understanding technical analysis is good for moving forward and being able to plan your asset entries and entries and exits in terms of whatever you would like to trade. But really, how we're sitting, okay, we're on we're on the 1 day as well, so we're seeing higher lows. So we continue to see higher lows in this. Here, we tested here. I mean, we've been testing this 40K line for a while now. Here we got a couple down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, sorry, not there actually. Whoops, we don't need to do that as well. At least 5+ times. So this is a hard line for us to break. We're probably, it's looking like it's going to be a tough one. So where do I see this in terms of long term? You guys already know my long term outlook. We don't even need to go in the long term. We're chilling in the long term. I'm very, very confident, of course, of us moving forward. Short term, I don't really pay attention to short term that much. And by short term, I mean 1 week, 2 weeks. I'd say 2 weeks max. No one could predict even a week. That is just absolutely ridiculous. And things can change on a dime, like a sentiment on a dime. We've seen it happen so many times. Either don't even want to say it, but a tweet, it doesn't even, I'm not going to mention who, but he's lost some influence in terms of that. I don't even like bringing it up, but in terms of market sentiment and news, there are things that can come up that, of course, can change the narrative very, very quickly. So where I see us right now, I see us in just a fine position. This is a very nice accumulation phase. Like I said, this is, of course, my goals are not your goals, and your goals are not your neighbor's goals. I'm here to just bring information, accurate information, to see exactly how we are, and I know you guys value my opinion quite a bit, so I appreciate that. Really, where I see us moving, testing down on that 25k mark definitely would not be uncommon, absolutely not. So that would bring us down to about, let's see how big of a drop that would be from where we're at currently. I don't think that'd be another 17%er, right there. Absolutely, and I'm going to be 100% real. I could see it, and you guys know I am. I could see us absolutely testing this. Would that really throw me out of the water? No, it would not. Me personally, that would just be a phenomenal buying opportunity. We could just sit in this range of 30, bouncing between 32 to 40 for maybe a couple more months, maybe a couple more weeks. Absolutely, in terms of maybe like 6 to 8 more weeks, we could definitely see that play out. But in terms of us moving forward, guys, this is me personally. This is an accumulation phase of a lifetime. So. I believe that was all I had to cover today. So yeah, clocked in a nice 20 minutes. So something real short, nothing too long. I've been doing timestamps in the description. So hopefully that's helpful, because I know you guys like to skip around. You guys got busy schedules, so you can skip to whatever parts you find fit for you. But thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys chiming in. Don't pay attention too much to this. I seriously don't. I'm not kidding, guys. I don't come on here and like check the charts as much as I, number one, used to, and number two, just moving forward. You guys already know. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Comment, like, subscribe, share this with anybody you think needs it. And I will see you guys probably this weekend. I will figure out the schedule for our coding, our video series, and also our live streams. I'll switch it up next week, just because the channel does get a little bit of drag just when hype is not really here enough. But I noticed the technical videos do a lot better, and you guys give me really good feedback. Also, some of you guys as well. Not everyone has given me feedback just yet, but the people who have, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and we will figure out that schedule as we keep going. So I'm glad that those technical videos are you guys are liking those, and that's something we will definitely continue, because I'm here for you guys, and I do things that, of course, are going to benefit you guys as well, not just myself. So thank you so much, guys. Really, really appreciate it. I'm actually out for real this time. Comment, like, subscribe if you need anything. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.